Hey, good people. How's it going? Have you had your breakfast? Have you had a meal? Okay. Um, the topic I want to bring to you today is, well, I think it's going to be an interesting topic. For some people, they might be wondering, or for that person who's following me, they might be wondering, like, why, why the goon? Like, why goon? Like, why, out of all things you could create, out of all the names that you could come up with, why goon? Why white collar goon? I mean, there was a TV show, White Collar. People know about like white collar jobs or white collar crime, but what is a white collar goon? All right. And I'll explain what the idea of the goon is, because the goon isn't me, the goon is in everyone. The goon is in you. The goon is that part of you, that personality, that I would say it's that part of you that you keep buried deep inside. The goon is the part of you that's not necessarily violent or mean or aggressive, but it's unapologetic. It is unfiltered. It is uninhibited. It is raw. It is organic. Okay. Now, what am I really getting into? And this is the truth. I'm really talking about integrating your shadow. Okay, shadow integration. And people might say, "Well, what the fuck is that? Like, what is your shadow?" Your shadow is basically your lower self. You have your higher self and you have your lower self. You have the part of you that's that persona. That means, like, here is my politically correct face. Here is the image that I want to project to the world, i.e., when I go to work, i.e., when I'm in a public place, i.e., whenever I am a person of color. And this is the type of uh, projection of your behaviors, your mannerisms, your speech. Everything is almost altered and tailored to fit your environment, but it's not really you. There's a part of you that whenever you're out at work or when you're out speaking with the managers or the executives or the administrators, or whenever you're meeting your, I don't know, your significant others parents, there's a part of you that says, okay, let me tuck in the goon, let me hide the goon, let me make sure, like, the real me doesn't come out, because if the real me comes out, I'm gonna start cursing. If the real me comes out, I might roll something up out here. Like, if the real me comes out, I might really tell you how I feel. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if the real me is out, then maybe that girl wouldn't like me, or maybe my friends, or maybe her friends wouldn't like me, or maybe her friends may tell that girl not to date me, not to be interested in me. Maybe if I really showed the real me, maybe I might not get into this special club. Maybe those group of friends that I want to be a part of, or those group of people who I think that are so cool, maybe they won't accept me if I'm really me, right? So the goon is your shadow, and it's really important to integrate your shadow, because the shadow is a part of you. The shadow is those suppressed feelings, those suppressed emotions, those suppressed actions that really dictate, or they're a part of your genetic makeup, your chemical makeup. Your That's a part of who you are. If you as a human being, we as human beings are a sum of all of our parts. We are a accumulation, or we are, yeah, we are an accumulation of everything that we've experienced to this point. So if you're 30, if you're 60, if you're 90, every person you've talked to, anything that you've read, anything that your eyes have seen, any place that you've gone, all of that is encompassed or encapsulated into a human being, and that is you, right? Now, with that being said, if you've been living for 30 years, are you living for 15 years, are you living for 100 years? There are innate actions, or innate emotions, or innate, you know, behavioral characteristics that you have, And as people grow older, and I don't mean old like 200, I mean older like whenever you were 5, you were uninhibited. When you were 4, you were radically open and transparent, and you were curious, and you were mischievous, and you were just yourself. When you were 6, you were confident, and you loved life, and you loved to explore, and you were outspoken, and you asked questions. That's a part of the shadow. You weren't focused on the pride, because you don't have an ego when you're 7. You don't have an ego when you're 5. You don't. Not only do you not have it, you don't know what it is. You don't know. You're not aware that you should be embarrassed, if that makes sense. You're not aware that you should be uh anxious, or you should care about what other people think. Like, that's not a thing when you're 6. That's not a thing when you're 7. So the reason why I bring up the youth is because they are unapologetically or they are radically themselves. They don't have to integrate their shadow, because they're living it, right? So when I talk about shadow integration, and I talk about alignment is symmetry, and I talk about synthesis, and I talk about a system of synthesis, and I talk about systems of synchronicity, all alignment is taking that goon energy, or your lower self, and synthesizing it with your higher self, the logical self, the reasonable self, the the part of you that you like, I guess, the part of you that you project to the world, the part of you that you take with you whenever you are at a restaurant, or you're at your job, or you're at church. Once you integrate your shadow with your higher self, or the self that you like to show people, then you become yourself 2.0, or then you become a complete version. I wouldn't even say 2.0, because in order to level up, or to upgrade, or to rise in the social dominance hierarchy, or your own hierarchy of needs, what you need to do is, of course, triangulate the mind, body, and soul, and strengthen those. But the first things first is yourself, and you have to integrate your shadow. So people ask me, yo, Gabe, what's your goon? Like why, like, when did you come up with the goon for you? Like, because when I was growing up, when I was in middle school, or when I was in elementary school, I used to have, particularly like in high school, I was always a person who got along well with others, or made friends easily, or had a lot of who was a people person, and I still am, right? So growing up, I could tell that I was a people person. People like me. I like people, and I don't even think it was necessarily that people liked me first. They could genuinely see that even at second grade, I could talk to a pole. I could talk to a light post. You know what I'm saying? Like, people could see that, okay, this is you. And because somebody who puts off the energy that he genuinely loves people, likes people, then it attracts people, right? I didn't really I didn't really become aware that other people weren't like that, or people were uncomfortable with being themselves. Like, I had no idea that I was an outlier until I maybe got to college. Like, until I got to a university where there were other people who were intelligent and competent, and coming from all over the state, or all over the country, or all over all over the globe. People from, we had one of the highest, or the largest international populations, or student demographics at our school. So, I mean, I didn't it didn't hit me that I was different, that I was weird, or I was, the outlier, based on the fact that I was just comfortable with myself. Like, I was comfortable with my flaws, as well as whatever my pros are, whatever my assets were. Like, whatever things that I did good, I could easily, I don't know if it's easy, but I would openly express my shortcomings, or my pitfalls too. And there are a lot of people who aren't like that. There's a lot of people who are like, they're afraid to tell people that they may not be that good at school, or they may not make the best grades, or they have trouble reading, or they have trouble speaking to women, or they have trouble, going to the gym, there's a lot of people who won't express that. And I openly will show you, like, look at my fucking videos. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm showing you the worst, or I'm showing you the uncomfortable things. I'm showing you the awkward things. I'm showing you the cringe worthy material, because it's like, I don't know. It's so funny. It's like, to a clinical degree, I did, to a clinical fucking degree, I had no idea other people were so uncomfortable or so, it's hard for people to be themselves. Put it that way. Like, it's so hard for people to really show themselves. And I mentioned the examples before, but literally, I grew up hanging around guys in middle school, guys in high school, guys before that, guys college. And one thing I could always see was like, I noticed that guys acted differently when women came around. It didn't have to be Beyonce. It didn't have to be Carrie Hilson. It didn't have to be fucking Natalie Portman or some shit. It would just be girls, your peers, your contemporaries. As soon as, the opposite sex came in, or as soon as a teacher walked in, or as soon as an adult, so somebody, and we're adults, but like, as soon as somebody older than you, or somebody younger than you, or some women, like, anything threw off, like, what I noticed, like, my friend's natural disposition, their natural behavior. Basically, they would be joking and laughing and loud and themselves, and then all of a sudden we get one or two girls come in, and those same guys who are laughing, joking, and cracking all kind of, remarks or whatever. Now all of a sudden they're quiet now. Now they're reserved. Now they got a serious face. Now they're not making eye contact with anybody or with the women in the room, and that's like, where did that come from? Like, and I'm not saying that's like shadow integration, but it is a part of taking time to really know who you are and be comfortable with who you are, because it really plays into how you interface with the world, how you interface with potential employers when you go to a job interview, how you interface with the women, how you interface with your family. So you need to integrate your shadow. Goon.